this is Mike Dilt with the Relax Back UK show. On the Relax Back UK show, we explore all kinds of health topics, so keep listening and enjoy the ride. Hi, and thank you for joining me on the Relax Back UK show this week. The topic is something that none of us can avoid, that is getting older. More specifically, recovery from exercise as we get on a bit. I've noticed that if I go for a little jog or what have you, do some exercise, it takes a little bit longer to get over it. I just feel stiff for longer. And please don't call it DOMS, delayed onset muscle stiffness. That's just people that want to sound clever calling being a bit stiff DOMS. So anyway, don't do that. You can if you want. It's just that it irritates me a little bit. Also, we'll be talking about repair from injury. Again, as we get older, as we get a bit older, it can take a little bit longer to recover from injuries. That's really relevant to everyone, not just people as they get a bit older. Recovering from injury of any sort, whether it's from doing athletics or running or jogging or sport or just in everyday life. There is something there for everyone.
Within a very short period of time, Dr. Rob had diagnosed me as a ruptured tendon and basically turned around to me and said, "We think that's the end of your career."
My guest is James Greenwell, modern pentathlete and world champion. After he had a very illustrious career as an elite athlete after very badly tearing his Achilles when training. We talk about how he managed to get himself back on track amongst lots of other things. It's relevant to everyone, not just world champions. So please do stay tuned for a great show. Thank you.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
Apples and pears, beef and skittles, cider with Rosie, common or garden, ant and deck, fish and chips, mum and dad.
UK Health Radio and Health Triangle magazine. Each is good by itself, but enjoying both is always better.
Kiss me quick.
Add Health Triangle magazine to your monthly health regime. Check it out at ukhealthradio.com.
Strawberries and cream.
A cancer diagnosis can be scary and stressful for everyone involved. Hello Love is a contemporary living space and well-being center in central London where anyone can come and learn about illness prevention and non-toxic practice. Inside, you will find a vegan restaurant, juice bar, and holistic dojo that encourage lifestyle changes to help heal mind, body, and spirit connection. Cancer patients are offered free sessions. To find out more, please visit us at hellolove.org.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
So James Greenwell is an elite athlete who really has done an awful lot in his modern pentathlon career. So I took the easy way out and asked him to summarise some of his achievements.
Well, yeah, sure, Mike, and lovely to meet you. So my background or my sporting criteria now is I am a master. I am 50 years old. I've still been competing for Team GB. So in the sport of modern pentathlon, there's elements called biathlon, which is run, swim, run. A sport called triathlon, which is shoot, swim, run. And then, of course, the full modern pentathlon. I've been competing since the junior age. I started when I was 14, got my first British title in the under-16s, went on to be junior national champion at 19, 3 world championships as a junior, coming through the ranks before going straight into the senior world championships in Sheffield in 1994. That seems like an absolute lifetime ago. Continued competing right through to 2003. And it was 2003 when potential career-ending injury launched my career now. Okay. But I returned to the sport in 2013 in the biathlon, triathlon, and so on and so forth. Since then, I've won 4 world championships, 6 European championships, and I think I've amassed some further 15, 16 national titles.
I think we can safely say you're not a slouch, are you, James? You don't just sit on the sofa.
I am highly motivated.
Good. I want to ask a bit more about the pentathlon, because actually I've spoken to another modern pentathlon giant, Greg White. In fact, Professor Greg White.
Yes. Now,
and
the prof.
They asked him shooting, swimming, and fencing. The big prof, yeah. He said, well, it's all things that an officer in the King's Army should be able to do. So
yes.
I said, well, you're officer material then, are you, Greg? At which he kind of laughed. So I get asked the same question of you, James. Are you officer material?
I would say I am, actually. Yes. The prof is a dear friend of mine. We competed together for 10 years internationally. And actually, Greg is a co-founder of one of the brands here at On Group, the You Perform brand, which we launched in lockdown, when we're really looking after our fellow elite athletes and making sure that we can get them, or Team GB athletes, recovering far faster than anybody else, giving us that GB advantage.
Oh, I like the sound of a GB advantage. Yeah. So, but did you train with Greg? Were you kind of in the same stable or compete with him?
Yeah, very much competed against him to start with, because Greg's 4.5 years older than me. Then as I came through the ranks, we competed together. So we were in the team in 1994 together as the 4-man team who went on to win silver medal at World Championships. I was first year in the senior then, so I was fourth man, but still played a very key role. And then myself and Greg and a wonderful athlete called Richard Phelps, who was a legend in the sport. He came 4th, 5th, and 6th, I think it was, at Olympic Games, and then went on to become the world champion in 1993. So that was the team.
I was just going to say, I do occasionally like to ask the impossible question, slightly unfair question. So you were in the same stable as Greg, right? But who was better? Who was better?
Be fair, Greg was better. Yeah, he was better. He had it on the swim. I mean, the interesting thing is on a world level now, I'm considered the fastest man in the water, nicknamed the Shark. But Greg had it on the day back in those days. I think the few years advantage on me, that experience and the fact that he's a monster in the water, gave him that edge. But the rest of the events, it was 6-1, half a dozen the other.
Sure. All right. So you've described your illustrious career, but the fact is, 20 years or so ago, maybe slightly longer, it nearly all stopped. So what happened?
Well, it was 2003. It was February. It was a cold morning. I was the men's captain at this point in time in the squad. We were on the track on a Saturday morning at Bath University, and we were out there going through the paces as a squad. And the then coach, Christian, who was our national coach, basically turned to me and said, "Come on, James, your squad's being a little bit lazy this morning. Pick up the pace." Knowing full well that I lead by example and push to the front of the pack and up the pace and up the pace and up the pace. Unfortunately, Mike, I must have pushed a little bit too hard. And coming off the final bend onto the home straight at Bath University, I felt and heard a tear in my right leg and literally dropped to the floor. The upshot of it was that I had ruptured my right Achilles tendon. And to put that in perspective for people listening, imagine listening to
this. Actually, I'm physically going. Ugh!
Yeah, imagine taking a large kitchen knife and flashing your Achilles tendon. That's what the experience. Luckily, it wasn't fully ruptured, but it was a good partial rupture. Well, I dropped to the floor. My teammates ran back and picked me up.
Was it like a twang or a tear? What was the noise?
It was a tear. It was a rip. Imagine tearing a piece of paper. It was that type of, it was that sensation. I dropped to the floor, holding my ankle, screaming blue murder. And the boys literally realized something significant was up, ran back and picked me up and actually carried me straight into the medical center at the Bath Uni. And within a very short period of time, Dr. Rob had diagnosed me as a ruptured tendon. and basically turned around to me and said, "We think that's the end of your career," and that's it.
What is this on the same day? Like when you were
within an hour? Within an hour.
God.
Yeah. So
it doesn't sound like a great bedside manner to me, though, James.
No, but brutally honest is the way forward. You know, that's when I actually turned to Greg. I actually had the phone call with Greg as I was being driven back home that day, and Greg said, "Well, look, you know, the reality is Doc Rob's probably right. You're not going to repair quick enough to finish off the season." And I knew it was going to be my last season anyway, to be fair, because the youth of the squad, the young men on the squad, were coming through so fast. The reality is it was going to be my last year. But Greg pointed me in the direction of the research to instigate. And he said, well, look, the reason for you not repairing as fast as you would have done when you're 22, 23, is the collagen in your body has depleted.
Right. And so what age were you at this point, James?
I was grand old age of 31, Mike.
Okay, so you weren't that old.
No, but what we understand now is I'd already lost about 15 to 16% of the natural collagen stored in my body by the time I was 30. And that's a slippery slope down. We basically lose about 1.5% of our body store per year, every year, ongoing. So I'd already lost a considerable amount of glue in my body compared to the youngsters on the team.
So, so collagen is the kind of the thing that we're moving on to talk about. So, so what is it and what does it do in our body?
Well, you know, it's a misconception, because when I say the word collagen now, when I'm doing TV interviews or education around the world, the thing that jumps to mind is skincare, skin creams, and potentially even injections, line fillers, Botox, that type of scenario. But actually, people couldn't be further from the truth. So collagen is actually the primary structural protein that occurs in the human body. And it actually occurs in all mammals, so your cats and dogs and horses as well. But in human beings, collagen actually makes up of almost 1/3 of our natural protein throughout our entire body. So that's your ligaments, tendons, muscles, cartilage, bone density, internal organs, and predominantly skin tissue as well. Our dermal and epidermal layers of our skin can be up to 90% of the dry protein weight is actually collagen. And the interesting thing is there's different collagen types throughout the body. So effectively, one collagen doesn't fit all. So it's about finding the right tool for the right job, as they say. So
as we get older, we have less collagen in our body. Now, does our body make collagen, or do we have to ingest collagen? And why, does that make a difference? Why does that make a difference as we get older?
Well, Mike, that's a really good question. Now, the facts are that our body makes collagen abundantly and very, very quickly when we're young, right up to the point where we become fully grown. So around about that 20, 21 years old point, when our bones are fully developed, our muscles are developed, and, we're at a point where we stopped growing effectively. We're now in our youthful years, in our teenage years, our body's natural production of collagen is very, very quick. And it needs to be, because our body's breaking it down. And it's breaking it down, it's utilizing that collagen molecule, that protein, for growth, for bone density, for bone growth, for muscle strength, and so on and so forth. But when we get to that point where it's fully grown, it's almost as if the body recognizes we're fully developed. And at that point in time, the production of this incredible structural glue, this scaffolding of the body, shall we say, slows down in the human body. But of course, wear and tear doesn't slow down. In many cases, we actually become more active in our 20s and 30s. The sport of triathlon is the fastest growing sport in the world. And more people take it up in their mid-20s through to the 30s than any other age group. So it's just a classic example of people becoming more active. Maybe we find the gym, maybe we take up park run or anything like that. So your production slows down, but the wear and tear continues at a very, very fast rate. And because of that, we see this net loss of the collagen protein within our body. And it works out about 1.5% loss. Now, if it stopped there, it would be great. 1.5% loss, no big deal. But it's 1.5% loss per year, every year, throughout our rest of our life cycle. So by that grand old age of 30, It is, yeah. Every single year we're losing more and more and more, and the production is
It's like
slowing
compound
down.
interest when you're saving money.
It's exactly that, exactly that. So it's a slippery slope down. So by the grand old age of 30 years old, you've already lost about 15% mathematically. By the time you're 40, you're 30% down. And that point at middle age, which is about 50 years old, mathematically, you can be up to 45% depleted in collagen. And then, of course, we have this incredible point where men and women start aging differently from a physiological point of view and a collagen depletion point of view. And then this is where I become the most hated man in the country, Mike, when I tell the ladies actually during that post-menopause period of 5 years that collagen depletion in the female body accelerates so rapidly that they are actually aging from a collagen point of view 4 times faster than any other point in their life.
Goodness me. All right. There's some of these facts are quite sobering, and they're making me think of lots of questions. The first one is all about me. All right.
Yep.
So
okay.
I'm a bit older than you. I'm 56.
Okay.
And a few months ago, I spent a month in the gym.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it, actually. And I felt like I got stronger. I probably did get a bit stronger, and my physique changed a bit. But was this playing havoc with my collagen? Was I, potentially doing myself damage?
Well, that's a really interesting question. So I'll answer it in 2 parts. First of all, I'm going to give you your mathematical, and it's only mathematical theory. About 54% of your total collagen store has been lost over longevity because of your age. So you're significantly lower. Now, there's loads of factors that people experience in their lifestyle that actually can speed up or slow down collagen production internally. So that would affect the amount being lost. I'll give you a few examples. Training utilizes collagen. It utilizes the protein for muscle repair and connective tissue stabilization. So that will be a use of collagen. I don't know what your diet's like, Mike. If it's very good and you're hitting your 5 a day every day, you're getting lots of fresh fruit and vegetables, lots of antioxidants into your diet, that will actually help your body produce collagen at a slightly faster rate. However, if you're nutrient deficient and you're not hitting your 5 a day, and 34% of the country today will not eat a single serving of green food or fruit. So fruit and veg, not a single serving, 34%. It's quite scary.
Well, hang on, where does that statistic come from? Because I've got to say, I find it kind of hard to believe.
Well, it's actually one of the national statistics, and we researched this here at On Group to understand what the population of the United Kingdom is actually doing. The statistics national statistics agency is given the statistics 34%. Is on a normal day is the percentage of the population who won't actually eat a single piece of fruit or have anything green in their diet, which is horrendously scary because we need that to help their body support collagen production or protein synthesis, as it's called, the production of collagen and other proteins internally. So that will affect your collagen depletion. So coming back to your question of you're in the gym, will you get stronger? Over a month, if you maintained your training over a month, there's potential that you could potentially get stronger. You're training your muscles, you're making your muscles work for you, and there is a potential improvement in your muscle strength. Which is a really good thing. And it's not just the muscle strength, it's also weight-bearing exercise. If you're doing a little bit of running, for example, as a warm-up, weight-bearing exercise adds to bone density as well as your cardiovascular fitness. So there is multiple benefits for exercising. However, the downside is it does utilize collagen and it does increase wear and tear on your joints. We're living in an amazing place at the moment in time with the population of the UK hitting, I think it's 67 million people. And with that, the average age expectancy is rocketing up because of improvements over the generations in the health service and medicines and so on and so forth. With longevity comes increased wear and tear. Now, you and I both know if your car needs new tires, you just take it into the garage and pay a few £100 potentially, and you put a new set of tires on, and you're good to go again. Not quite the same with the human body. With longevity, we're seeing an increased amount of things like hip replacements, knee replacements, joint health issues, and so on and so forth. So we really do need to address joint health, especially, and understanding that up to 50% of the protein found in your cartilage is collagen. That light bulb moment is starting to go on. Right. It's like the breakdown of collagen as a structural protein, as the glue of your body in your cartilage, allows cartilage to wear and tear. And of course, if you lose cartilage in your joint, bone is rubbing against bone, and we get significant joint pain, and the development of potentially osteoarthritis and so on and so forth.
So the process of making collagen gets less efficient as we get older. That's kind of the bottom line, is it?
Yeah, that's very much hitting the nail on the head.
So as you get older, you've got to make sure you eat the stuff that helps to make the collagen, which, as you said, right, is your 5 a day.
Yeah, as a minimum. Yeah.
All right. So that's what we just need to do. Very few of us are doing it. 34% don't do any of it at all. This sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. We'll all be hobbling around when we're 80.
Well, that is the potential. And the key thing is that even if you have your fruit and veg, and even if you have foods that potentially can add to collagen production, things like chicken broths and so on and so forth, it's the actual impact on the body's natural production of collagen is minimal. It can increase it, it can improve it, but it's minimal compared to what you can achieve with a collagen supplement. Right. And that's when the technology that's new to the world, and when I say new to the world, back in 2003, I became the first elite athlete in the world ever to use a collagen hydrolysate, and that's the key thing, hydrolysate product, to see if it would help my body repair and recover. Prior to that point, there was no collagen marketed on, for a retail purchase. Okay. So when I reached out to the manufacturer of this new product and said, hey, look, this is who I am. This is what I do for a living as a modern pentathlete. This is what's happened. I would like to trial your product.
Effectively.
Absolutely. I mean, they didn't send me a jar of capsules or anything like that. They sent me a bag of white powder because nobody had turned it into a marketable product at that point. So I literally became the first person. I was the guinea pig, which didn't go down very well with team coach because he was scared stiff that I would be taking this white powder, and then the next thing would be banned for drugs or something like that, and then it would be shame on Team GB, British captain, banned for taking an untried and untested substance. But I took the point, it was either make or break. So it was either going to work and I could return, or it wasn't going to work, and that was game over, retirement.
Okay, well, I'll in a moment, I want to get more details of your return. But first off, I just want to ask you, so you were the guinea pig. You've been taking this stuff for 20 years. It's done you wonders.
Yeah,
however,
it really has.
Scientifically, that's pretty much anecdotal. We've got an N of 1. Any more evidence?
The key thing is we have to look now, because technology in collagen peptides has moved on dramatically since the very first time I used a collagen hydrolysate peptide. And in 2015, things changed globally in the collagen industry. It was what we classify as a game changer. Now, in 2015, the launch of a particular peptide called Verisol B came to light. Now, Verisol B is the first and foremost peptide in the beauty industry. Now, I'm going to clarify
a little bit. You're saying peptide, that's a sort of collagen, is it?
So a peptide is effectively a snip of a protein. So if we put this into very clear on basic science, if we look at what a protein is, it's a chain of 18 amino acid profiles. So all your natural amino acids that occur in nature occur in a protein. Now, what technology can now do is look at a number of those and snip that chain of amino acid to a smaller chain. So let's say, for example, 1 to 18 is your protein. We would snip maybe 1 to 7. and that becomes a peptide.
Okay.
That is what's going to address certain areas of the body. So let's run around the body very quickly. Skin is type 1 collagen. That might be hypothetically 1 to 7. Connective tissue, cartilage, is 2 different things. So cartilage is type 2. That might be 5 to 12. And then connective tissue, your ligaments, your tendons, your muscles, that's type 3 collagen. So that's a slightly different area. And that might be, for example, 13 up to 18. So what technology can do is we snip that protein chain to make it a smaller, more targeted string of amino acids that can specifically target different areas in the body. And with this term I keep on coming back to, hydrolysate or hydrolysis, means we can absorb this molecule far more effectively because they're a smaller molecule, a lighter molecular weight, which is referred to as a Dalton.
Gotcha. All right. So, sorry, I interrupted you.
That's right.
And then you gave that little explanation. Carry on.
Yeah. So what we look at now is this incredible array of different collagen peptides, and that's when it becomes very interesting because we are in an unregulated industry. So it's very much down to the brands and the companies to whether or not they want to declare their science or not, or whether they only choose to use the science supplied to them by the manufacturers of the ingredient himself, which obviously is clearly biased. So we are at On Group, and we have a number of brands here, Mike. We have Protocol, which is the leading beauty brand in the UK and globally. We're over in 20 countries now, which is an incredible adventure for the business. But we also have that brand called You Perform, which is what I started with Greg in lockdown. And that's very much targeted towards our people who like to be more active, whether you're a gym goer or an active athlete, or even an Olympic athlete or Olympic champion, because we actually had 3 of those in Tokyo using our You Perform products. But what we have is different.
So this isn't classed as cheating yet.
No, it's actually informed sports tested now, which means the product is actually approved for use by Olympic and professional athletes. So the You Perform range is the range that we've had tested. A number of the products are tested, the active collagen gels, the protein and collagen formulation, and so on and so forth. They've been tested for elite athletes, and it's all cleared. That's the good news. Whereas in Protocol, we use a different array of collagen peptides for beauty because you get better results. Now, the key thing is, I'm sure you've heard the expression before, use the right tool for the right job. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't try and bang a screw into the wall with a hammer. You'd use a screwdriver. It's the right job, the right tool for the job. So, and likewise, what we understand now at On Group with all our collagen ranges, the beauty range, Protocol, the sports range, You Perform, and even now a range for your cats and dogs and horses. It's called Vettrition. It's a totally different collagen peptide designed for our furry friends. We're all about getting the right tool, the right job, because it's a misconception that one type of collagen fits all. It simply doesn't, and it doesn't work like that. And Mike, over the 20 years that I've been studying collagen and lecturing at the World Collagen Conference and on television around the world, I've lost count of the number of times that people have said to me, I've tried a collagen and it didn't work. And I have to go back to them and ask them, what type of collagen was it? Where was it sourced? What is the grade of the peptide? Because we do see a lot of cheap grade marine collagen entering the UK. It's made and manufactured in China. It's a byproduct of the fishing industry, and it's basically sea waste. And when I say sea waste, it's things like, it's not just the actual fish and bones that they're actually trying to derive the collagen from. They might throw anything in there. They might throw jellyfish in there. They might throw sharks that have been caught by accident, for example, even dolphin waste, which is, totally unacceptable in my opinion. So it's very, very important to understand where the source of collagen comes from. Is there independent scientific evidence about that particular source of collagen? Then how is the manufacturing process carried out? Because you can hydrolyze by using heat, You can hydrolyze by using acidity, or you can use an enzymatic process to get the end result, which is the reduced collagen molecule size.
Okay, and which of those is best? I can imagine if you use heat, that might denature collagen, or
Correct. I mean, they can all create an end result, but what we do is we work with one of the world's leading manufacturers of the raw material, and they use an enzymatic process, and they actually produce the highest grade of collagen available. And the reason I can say that is because Verisol B is the only grade of collagen hydrolysate in the world that has got independent clinical studies upon it that are significant. So I'll give an example, Mike. Using Verisol B at the clinical grade and clinical dose of 2,500 milligrams per day, there's independent science that says we can tighten skin elasticity by some 15% in just 30 days. Now, that second study continued on, a reduction in the total volume of lines and wrinkles measured. So it's not a perception study, it's a measured independent clinical study, a reduction of over 20% of the total volume of lines and wrinkles in 56 days. But the interesting thing is, for me personally, because the beauty claims are amazing, what's really interesting is Verisol B is the only grade of collagen peptide that actually stimulates your body's natural internal production. You know, we talked about the fruit and veg being really important, not having too much sugar in your diet because that inhibits collagen production. Verisol B is actually proven to stimulate your body's natural internal production of collagen by some 65% over and above where you are today. So if you're not taking a collagen supplement in any shape or form, Mike, we put you on a 8-week program of Verisol B at that clinical dose of 2,500 milligrams per day, which is effectively in our beauty collagen, that's 4 capsules a day. That's a daily dose. We can kickstart your body's natural production by some 65% within 8-week period. The impact of that on your body is going to be significant. So the side effects you'll notice are things like improvement skin elasticity, reduction in lines and wrinkles. You may even notice things like your nails growing faster, your hair growing thicker and faster. And then, of course, you can see lots more benefits throughout your body. And we have to look at the different elements in the body, different sources of collagen, where it's occurring, and how robust that collagen is. You know, with its skin was nice and soft and squidgy, very fine fibers. You're going from muscles, it gets more robust, tendons stronger again, ligaments yet again, and then, of course, cartilage is a very, very strong collagen fibrous area.
James, I can think of many more questions that I'd like to ask you about the scientific nature of things, but the fact is we're running out of time a little bit. So if people are listening to this and thinking, oh, I might like to look at some of that research and see if it's peer reviewed, are there any links on your website?
Yeah, we publish all the clinical science on protocol.com and on youperform.co.uk. We're one of the only companies in the world, actually, Mike, that will publish all the independent clinical double-blind against placebo studies. People can jump on board. They can read about the science behind collagen. It's all independent. And then they can understand why we use a combination of different collagen peptides within the products. All right. So getting the right tool, the right job.
I approve of you having those links big time. One final question. A friend of mine, actually, he's staying with me at the minute. He's 61, and he's been suffering for the last few months with an Achilles heel pain. Achilles, a tendon. So he said, ask James about me. What should I do? Should I start taking some of this stuff?
Yes, absolutely. And Mike, that's a good question. And yes, he should. And what I would do is actually, because he's Achilles tendon injury, I would actually direct him to our sporting collagen, because we have the different collagen peptides in that range. And there's actually 4 different peptides available from youperform.co.uk. So I would direct him to the YouPerform website to go and have a look at the science and the products. The active collagen gel would be the one for him. that delivers 8,000 milligrams of collagen peptides, way, way, way above the clinical dose required. And that product has 2 different peptides in it, one targeting the production of collagen internally in the body, the Verisol B, and then another one called Pentathlete, which is for that connective tissue. And what we can do is we can actually allow him and all your listeners to have a very special discount. We're going to they use the code radio20 on Uperform, and guess what? That will give them a 20% discount. So
fantastic. All right.
But that's the one for all the athletes and sporting injuries, because the peptides are being targeted towards that particular level of injury. A much higher dose of collagen, that's what required. But, as I say to everybody, don't expect this to happen overnight. It's like going to the gym. You need to go to the gym ideally for about 3 weeks to get fit. It takes time to rebuild the collagen in your body, especially with longevity. So the key thing is, if we're looking at him at 60 years old, he started to lose collagen at 20. That means there's 40 years of aging there. That's a significant loss. Maybe 50, even 60% of the collagen in his body has depleted since the age of 20 years old.
Right. I will pass that information on. So look, thank you very much indeed for chatting. Absolutely fabulously interesting. And please do send my regards to the Prof Greg as well.
I will. I'll be speaking to him later on today.
Very good. All right. So many thanks for your time.
Thanks, Mike. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much to my guest on this week's show. That's James Greenwell, modern pentathlon world champion and founder of Uperform. We spoke about all kinds of interesting stuff, including collagen and what it does for the body and how useful it is. And do remember the code he gave you, Radio20. If you go to the website Uperform and you put in the code Radio20, that will get 20% off anything you buy there. So once again, many thanks to James, and thank you to you for listening.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
A cancer diagnosis can be scary and stressful for everyone involved. Hello Love is a contemporary living space and well-being center in central London where anyone can come and learn about illness prevention and non-toxic practice. Inside, you will find a vegan restaurant, juice bar, and holistic dojo that encourage lifestyle changes to help heal mind, body, and spirit connection. Cancer patients are offered free sessions. To find out more, please visit us at hellolove.org.
A for horses, B for mutton, C more cheeks, dig for victory, E bar gore.
UK Health Radio and Health Triangle magazine. Each is good by itself, but enjoying both is always better.
Marks and Spencer.
Add Health Triangle magazine to your monthly health regime. Check it out at ukhealthradio.com.
T for two.
UK Health Radio, the station that makes you feel good.
That was the Relax Back UK show with me, Mike Dill. Thank you for listening, and please do join us again next time.